Hey everybody, Mike McWilliams, Upstairs to the Right Music channel. I have a cat running around playing, but that's okay, she can play. I have a tale of two bass guitars that I've been dying to bring to you guys for quite a while now. For many years, I owned a Fender Japan bass. Not unlike this one. This is a 1962 reissue Fender jazz bass made in Japan that came out, I'd say in 2002. Yeah, I believe that it is. Let me check that. Yes, 2002. And for many years, I played in recordings and on live stage my Fender made in Japan Fender jazz bass. And when I moved here, I sold it along with the rest of my collection because at that time, if you remember, dealers were dying for secondhand guitars, and you could get a pretty good deal at that time. It was during the COVID time. And I let it go, and I regretted it until I got myself this Harley Benton jazz bass. This is the Vt series jazz bass, the JB75. And I found this bass to be, for recording, I did the first half of my Asanoki Ants in the Pantry album using my Made in Japan Fender jazz bass, and the second half of the album I recorded here. I used this Harley Benton jazz bass, and quite frankly, in the recordings, this one performed stellar. You really can't tell a difference. And I've been quite satisfied with it, but I've been dying to get a Fender jazz bass in order to compare it with this Harley Benton jazz bass. So let's take a look at these side by side. A couple of things that I will note is that between weights of these two starting out, quite frankly, this comes in as a boat compared to this one. I'm going to guess that this is well over probably 11 pounds, whereas this one weighs in probably around 9 pounds or so, maybe 9.5. And you really can't feel those 2 extra pounds of difference. The other thing is, I have to say, are the neck profiles. I felt that the neck profiles on the Made in Japan Fender basses were quite similar to what I was finding on this Harley Benton. And to tell you the truth, that does play out to a certain extent, keeping in mind that this is a 62 reissue. This is a 75 reissue, I guess, Harley Benton's version of it. So there is that difference in terms of neck sizes between those two reissue years. However, they still are comparable to each other, although I have to say the feel of the wood or the maple on the neck on this bass, it's a pure pleasure. This feels good, but it doesn't have the quality of this. There's no comparison actually between the two of them in that regard. The quality on the neck on this Fender jazz bass, this maple neck, and mind you, this is a 22-year-old maple neck. I have to tell you, it really is one of those things that makes the difference in quality between these two bass guitars. There really is no substitute for quality woods. There is no substitute for quality woods. And in the case of this bass guitar, you can feel that. Really a lot lighter, and that to me means a lot, because this is a very comfortable bass to play, whether I'm playing on stage or whether I'm playing in studio. The Harley Benton, on the other hand, in terms of its comfort, is nowhere close to this one in terms of wanting to desire to take this on stage. It's great for sitting down in the studio and recording. Other than that, there's no way that I would take this out and gig it live. I wouldn't do it. It's just too much of a boat. It's too much of a lot of weight here. Some people think that weight adds to the tone. I don't know about that. I think it's the pickups. I always felt that way. But the pickups between these Roswell pickups and these Fender pickups, quite comparable. I really don't see there being too much of a difference there. However, I will say that in terms of construction and overall fit and finish, of course the Fender wins. There are certain, like this copper strip here for grounding. I mean, there's a lot of really cool things about this in terms of being a true reissue that they went out of their way to do. I really like the tuners on this. I think that they're just absolutely fine. No, people complain about the cheapness of Japanese Fender tuners. I don't know what they're talking about. These are just fine. As you can see, they're quite similar to the ones on the Roswells. I had to be honest, between the Roswell tuners, and they're the same shape as well, these tulip style is what they call it. So between these two tulip style tuners, I have to say that they're just fine. Either one of them will do you. So there's something there. Nitro paint job on this one, polyurethane on this one, but this is a natural, so it's got a clear coat on it. So not much there. In terms of the pickups, in terms of their sounds, you heard in the beginning there how I was switching between these two basses. Really not a whole lot in terms of really making that much of a difference. It doesn't make a difference in your pocketbook, sonically not so much. So there is that. However, again, at the end of the day, this has the feel of a professional instrument. Again, with those differences aside, I would have to say that there's a big price difference between these two bass guitars. And if you were starting out, if you were younger and you wanted to get quality bass, that would do you right. Keep in tune. You can take and you could gig around. You're young, so you can handle the weight. Then I would go with the Harley Benton. You'd save yourself a lot of coin and also save you some money to get yourself a bass amplifier as well. You could do both with the price that it would cost you to buy this Fender bass. But this bass will last. I don't know what's going to happen with this Harley Benton in 24 years, where it's going to be in terms of its look, in terms of its playability, and its functionality. Will it just someday just blow up? I don't think so. I think this is a good one, so it'll be just fine. It'll age just as well as this one, and it really just comes down to a preference of do I want to have a bass guitar, enough money to buy an amp to go with it, or do I want to blow it all on the bass guitar for now? And that's really the choice at a young level. As you get older, to tell you the truth, just as a money saver, and if you're not really playing bass, if you're only using it for recordings, then I would say that the Harley Benton is probably the way to go over this one. This would be a great bass to have around, yes, but will it be necessary to have that kind of equity in an instrument that you're not using as much? So there is that to consider. So it's really exciting to be able to show off these two bass guitars today, this Harley Benton and this Fender. I've always wanted to do this kind of head-to-head, just looking at them, feeling them, and seeing if really, if I had lost out when I traded up my Fender for, well, actually I sold my Fender and bought this Harley Benton to replace it. And no, I'm saying to myself, I did okay. I did the smart thing. And in terms of overall cost, especially recording costs, because I used the Harley Benton again, like I said, to record the second half of my album once I moved here, the costs there are actually pretty great. It kept the cost of that album down by not investing in a slightly more expensive bass guitar that just wasn't really necessary. However, again, if I were to play live, this ain't going out. This is the one, without any question. So there is that. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. I enjoy bringing these head-to-heads to you guys. This was a great one. I hope that you got something out of it. If you like this, hit the subscription button so you can join in the conversation, join in the community to get more of this stuff. If you like what you saw today, don't forget to also hit the like button. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, and that's always a good thing. I don't know why, but that's what they tell me. So do that for me. I appreciate it. And until the next one, you guys take care. Bye-bye.